You're listening to Uncensored, Unregular Radio.
All right, we're back with Two Hotheads Where Activism Happens, and we have Senator Stanley Rosenberg on the phone, Western Mass, very, very outspoken proponent of drug reform and marijuana, medical marijuana in Massachusetts. Always been a progressive politician that I have been proud to vote for when I lived out in Western Mass. Welcome, Stanley Rosenberg. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, we're doing fine. Thank you so much for last minute answering the phone. I'm glad we got you in the studio because obviously we have an election coming up, and medical marijuana is on the ballot here in Massachusetts. And you are a supporter of the Yes on 3?
I am. I'm a supporter of medical marijuana legalization here in Massachusetts. I prefer the version that we filed in the legislature, but it's been filed for a couple of terms or so and hasn't made any progress. So people decided to put it on the ballot, and so I'd like to see it put in place here in Massachusetts. So although I prefer the legislative version and I prefer making legislation law through the regular legislative process, I'm going to support the ballot question.
Yes, absolutely.
Good, Joe. Yeah.
And I have to say, I mean, that's really a shame in Massachusetts that we feel that the legislative process is so bloated and corrupt that it can't, that these pieces of legislation that you yourself have filed and supported, they can't make it through. Why is that? Why do we have to depend on the ballot initiative process to do this stuff?
First, I'm going to say that I don't agree that the legislature and the process is corrupt.
All right, okay.
That said, I don't think because a bill fails to pass that it's because of corruption. I know of nobody who's giving campaign contributions to anybody based on whether or not they support medical marijuana or even the legalization of marijuana for that matter. But I'll answer your question, which is essentially the legislature has thus far avoided taking up and getting out of committee any bill relating to any bill relative to marijuana, and the principal reason is because federal government regulation can trump regulation and laws that states put in place. And so if you're going to take what a lot of people consider a hard vote, you want to make sure that the law gets put into place. And so if in this case and others, they think they're going to be overturned by the courts or they're going to be challenged and preempted by federal action, then they tend to put those bills aside. Massachusetts has the right of free petition, which very few states have. It means that any resident of the Commonwealth can have legislation filed. Therefore, we have 8,000 to 12,000 bills a year to deal with. Sure. So it's really hard for any bill to get on the agenda because there are so many of them. And when there's any risk, such as I've just described, then the bills tend to go to the bottom of the pile and just stay in committee. I think the other piece of it is just that a lot of legislators consider drug-related issues to be a kind of third rail. Mm-hmm. People in this country, because of our federal laws, because of how we've been acculturated, have basically been convinced that all drugs are essentially the same and all drugs are bad, mm-hmm. and therefore
except for the prescription
any legislator
drugs.
who supports making drugs more available to the public in any way is basically compromising public safety and public health. And so I think that's the second reason that a lot of legislators shy away, and the committee chairs tend to leave those bills in committee.
And, I mean, that's interesting that you say that they would, people are afraid of being seen as increasing access to drugs when there's clearly already plenty of access to drugs. It's just we have no regulation for it and no oversight of it, and are putting people in jail for it. Why did you decide to support it if so many other politicians are afraid of touching that issue?
In the case of medical marijuana, I see it as a humanitarian issue, And I think if we can trust doctors to make recommendations for pharmaceuticals that can help control pain, improve health, manage difficult health situations, then we ought to be able to trust doctors to make recommendations that for patients, medical marijuana can potentially be helpful. And so I think if a doctor and a patient agree that they want to try it and see if it helps them, then I think they should be allowed to do it. And in most states now, I guess we're up to 16 states that have legalized medical marijuana. And in most of those states, if the DEA and federal government think the states are trying to reasonably manage the situation and make it available to people who need it and can manage the situation well, they tend to leave those folks alone. And so I just felt it was time that we made this available to people in a well-regulated system that will allow people access when they and their doctor agree that they think it would help them. And in our approach, we want the Department of Public Health to always be updating based on science and experience the list of conditions for which this would be applicable.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support because it does take guts in this political landscape to say that. Unfortunately, but it does. It takes courage, and we appreciate your support always. Now, I want to say at the same time, would you go one further, and are you supporting Dick Evans' legislature that he's trying to put through for the lawyer from Northampton? He's trying to fully legalize marijuana in Massachusetts through the legislature. And have you supported that? Have you signed on to that?
I think we have to go one step at a time on this issue. And through a ballot question, we decriminalized an ounce or less. And I think that was a very positive move. I would have voted for that in the legislature. I think that medical marijuana, again, is a positive step that would help a lot of people, so I can support that. I am totally open to a piece of legislation such as Dick Evans has filed. I don't know that the majority of my constituents are ready for that, and I'm not sure the majority of Massachusetts people are ready for that. It's not passed yet in a single state in a legislature or on a ballot, as far as I know.
That might be changing very soon, though, in a few days.
I don't think it's got much legs in the legislature yet.
Yeah.
No, you might be right, but I would say have faith in Massachusetts, because what do our polls say? I mean, we've had polls that have said almost 60-something percent.
58 to 62.
58 to 62%.
Depending on how it's done, how legalization is done.
How it's worded and stuff. But, I mean, even still, we might legalize it in Colorado, or there's a few other states that, are looking like potentially could legalize marijuana in a few days. So, things are changing.
Let's see. A, let's see how that goes. B, I do have faith in the voters of Massachusetts. But C, I don't have faith in polls.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That.
Very good point.
We're seeing that with the medical right now. So
I know.
Hopefully, November 6th, everyone gets out to vote. And thank you so much, Senator Rosenberg.
You are welcome.
Thank you for taking the time today. I know you took time out, and you weren't even really scheduled. Thank you so much for supporting this.
Happy to be on with you, and good luck to everyone on November 6th, from the top of the ballot to the bottom.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
I know.
All right.
Senator Stan Rosenberg.
Wow, we have a big show.
I know.
That was our first Mass State Senator on the show.
On the show.
We've had some elected officials, but that was the first one. We've had state reps from Maine and other places.
Barney Frank.
Yeah, but that wasn't just a minority party. He's one of the leaders of the Massachusetts Senate right there. He's on our side.
Yep.
Wow.
Very proud to support him.
Yeah.
And it turns
Good
out
interview.
we got some other guests in the studio.
Holy shit! Who walked in the studio? We got Carmelita waiting.
I haven't even seen him yet.
And Vermin Supreme is in the house.
Can't
So we're going out back. We're going to go get everyone going. And we got some big segments coming up. Two hotheads. We'll be back. Let's play some music and wait and see who comes on next.